come a point in time when he said that the only reason that he would cut this short is because if he didn't, even the very elect could be deceived. There are some slick, silver tongued preachers. Some of them are being found out that they really don't care about the congregation, they really don't care about the people. All they care about is the money. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them that are out there, and they're starting to figure it out. But the problem arises though, is that what's happening is you've broken down now the foundation of the family. You've broken down the foundation of people, of the concept of who you are. Because when you come to the point where you don't even know who you are, if you go back and you understand, basically this was the same concept of Hitler back then. This is the same concept of of communism. Is the state will tell you everything. And even those that are over in China are, if they start to uprise, basically the state will take, and those people will disappear. Yes, yes, and and it was the same thing. Like for instance, with this COVID stuff that supposedly came out of the Wuhan lab, and there were some people that were going to tell them about it, and the scientists that were working there, and there's four or five of them, that actually were the first ones to get sick, and they were put in the hospital, and nobody knows where they're at. They're gone. They've disappeared. If you and I tried to go to China and we're caught with a Bible in our luggage, you could end up being incarcerated, put in jail or prison in China, and that is where they lock the door and throw away the key. For a Bible, you are not allowed to have a Bible there. Has to be absolute. No, no, because they figure if you've got a Bible, you are smuggling the Bible in, and you are going to teach people about Christianity or about Jesus. Okay? You have to get permission from the state to be able to bring those in. You have to get permission from the state to assemble. That is why the biggest underground church is in China. It has it has roughly somewhere close to about 4 to 500,000 people. Huh? They're going into other countries. They will not tell you that they're going to China, but they do. They go into other places too that are there. They will not tell you. Anybody that tells you, um, because I have some friends that I know, that have children that are missionaries over there. But what they are doing is they go into the university basically as a professor or a teacher and teaching English in the classes. And then what happens is these students will ask questions and they will tell them. But the problem is if they find out that they are being watched, they have to get out of that country. And if they don't get out quickly, they never get out. And so it's very careful what they do and stuff. So if I can do all of that, and if I can quit, if I can take the church now and basically the principles of God, and people start questioning who God is, then I've got it. And this is basically where we're coming from and going to. And this is what I'm saying. So what happens is, again, um, I believe it was Karl Marx that made the statement um, that basically said that here, don't mess, don't mess with this generation because because these people already have a foundation and they're kind of know what they believe. It's going to be very, very difficult to convince them otherwise. So what I've got to do is I've got to go down to the bottom level and get 2 and 3 and 4 year old. And so uh, Ohio says they are not teaching CRT. They are teaching another thing called SEL, and SEL is it's it's self-expression and all this other stuff, and it basically is trying to teach you your you find out your self-worth and insight into you and all of this other stuff. I can't tell you who you are. You've got to find out who you are. Yes, yes, yes. And if you don't believe me, um, I just happened to run across the book, the handbook that is out there, and you can go get it and you can go read it. It's published. This is and what this is if you are a school in Ohio, here are the guidelines that you have to teach preschool kids, kindergarten, all the way through 12th grade. Every grade, what you have to teach, and it's set up that way. Um, Part of it, I think I shared with you Sunday. Um, and a lot of times people don't realize. I do believe, and I have to go back and check it and verify it again, but I do believe it was George Bush that they put in Common Core, and Common Core started to the point of standardized testing, where that everybody would test. And so basically what it is if if Debbie goes and takes a test and on that test Debbie gets a 99, I take the test and I get a 65. We can't have that. So what we've got to do is we've got to get it so that both of us really don't come up with a score. And so what we have to do is we teach to the test. We don't teach basically to the subject. So if you got it and I didn't, there's something wrong with the teacher. And so what they do is everybody has to come and get to a certain point. Otherwise, school system doesn't get any money from the state. The state doesn't get any money from the federal government. Okay, there are a couple of departments that we could get rid of, and it would be absolutely awesome. One is the Department of Education, should be gotten rid of, and the second one is the IRS. And that one, all we need to do is, I'll send you my money, and you all disperse it. I don't need anybody doing all the other stuff. But I've gotten off on a tangent. But I'm saying that because you can't get sidetracked. Okay? We can't get sidetracked on who's here and who's not here, who's attending church and who's not attending church. We're not going to be judged on that. What we're going to be judged on is this. Here's what I asked you to do. Did you do it? That's it. Whatever I gave you as far as talents and gifts, that's what I require, is what God is saying. If I've given you more than somebody else, to whom more is given, more is required. And so I say to you that whatever you're doing, you need to take every day and just say, okay, God, what is it that you're asking me to do today? I cannot go back to yesterday and redo what it was that I didn't do that you asked me to do. I can't do that. All I can do is see what you're asking me to do today and do it. I'll worry about tomorrow if I see it. If I don't see it, I'm not responsible for it. And that's why, you know, that's the whole philosophy of what Jesus is saying is this. You don't you don't worry about tomorrow. When tomorrow comes, as we've been talking about in Psalms 23, he knows what I need. And when tomorrow comes, he already knows what he had planned for me. He's already brought me to that point. He knows exactly what I need to get through tomorrow. I'm here. And it'll be there. It may not be everything I want. That's not what he's given me. He's given me what I need. And so I have learned that as long as I keep that mindset, I'm okay. And my life is totally fulfilled. Yeah, but I don't know if I'll give you an answer. Mhm. Yes. Mhm. Yes. And that and see, and this is what a lot of times people don't understand is he actually will be laying there, you know, killed, dead, and it says that everybody's going to see it, and a lot of people thought, well, how can that happen? And you think about it. Remember, just I don't know, it was about 2 weeks ago. Jeff Bezos had that a SpaceX flight, and William Shatner was on it. Okay, how many people do you think saw that? Hmm? Who had the capability to see that? The whole world, because of satellites that we have up there. We can take a feed of something that's happening right now, maybe with a little bit of a delay, but the whole world can actually picture and see this. And so if you've got the beast has been killed, laying there, and you've got all of these news cameras, Spanish, English, Nigerian, Russian, Chinese, all there together, and they're seeing this. And then all of a sudden, he rises up and is healed. They'll all see it. They'll all see it. And what happens? Isn't there that old saying, seeing is believing? But seeing can also be deceiving. Talk to magicians, and that's what Satan does. You know, he's a deceiver. He's a liar. Yes. Yep. And you got the two witnesses that no, he can't. And this is the whole thing that I've shared so many times, and that is this: that Satan can replicate because, and here's why I say this. A lot of people say, no, he can't. And I'll say, okay, then what you did is you just called Jesus a liar. Because here's what Jesus said. He said to his disciples that many will come to me on that day, and they will say, haven't I healed the sick? Haven't I raised the dead? Haven't we done many miracles in your name? And he said that I will say to them, depart from me, you workers of King James Version, okay? That's the only thing I knew. Yeah. And says, depart from me, you workers of iniquity, because I never knew you. So what does that mean? That means that Satan has the capability to imitate a healing, a resurrection, miracles that will look like it's Jesus. And that's why Jesus says, try the Spirit and see whether it be of God or not. Because let me say this to you, even if it's a healing, even if it is a raising of the dead, there will be something in there that the Spirit of God will tell you, imitation. And that's why I continue to tell people that is why God tells us to get into his word, get into his word, get into his word, and store it in my heart that I may not sin against God. Because me seeing that and me following that, I have now sinned. And so that's why I've got to know. Jesus said, my sheep they know my name. They know my name. Yeah. You have, yeah, you will have the, the beast, the Antichrist, and yeah, just as you have the Trinity of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. Satan, again, always wants to be an imitator. And that's how he fools people. He tries to be like God. You know, it's like me trying, well, this is a bad example. It's like me trying to be like Madonna. You know, there is no way I can do that. Okay, but I might dress up like her, and I can do some Milli Vanilli uh, lip syncing. Yep. But the good thing about it is, since I believe I'm out of here before all of that happens, I don't have to worry about it. Right. Yep. And so, um, it, what it is, and so, yeah, yep. It's there. It's a whole lot of stuff. So anyway, it's 8 o'clock. I'm sorry. So tonight is the first night of the rest